So guys, welcome. And today we are going to discuss about the Bangladesh Champions Trophy squad. Yes, the finalists of the 2017 Champions Trophy World Cup, or be it the 2024 T20 World Cup. After so many changes in this recent times in the Bangladesh team, especially if we talk about the exclusion of Shakib Al Hasan, Liton Das, and Tamim Iqbal, it remains to be seen whether they can bring their A game up and show some positivity and some aggression into the game, and whether they will be able to give a surprise this time, the way they did in the 2017 Champions Trophy. So today we are going to analyze the 15-member squad of Bangladesh team, and we are going to divide this into four sections, in which I will be covering the wicket keepers and the all-rounder section, and Rajatawa will be covering with me the batters and bowlers section. So without wasting any time, let's start about the batter section, in which Rajatawa, how do you think the Bangladesh batting lineup looks like?
Okay, so the Bangladesh batting lineup mainly consists of three players. I'll exclude the all-rounders and the wicket-keeper batsmen for you. So the Bangladeshi batsmen, there are three players. So it starts with Najmul Hossain Santo, the captain. He's a left-handed batsman. He averages a meager 33.29 with three ODI hundreds, and he has had some experience of leading the team over the past few months, I would say, and more so in the test series against India, and notably in the T20 World Cup, where Bangladesh advanced to the knockouts. Not exactly to the knockouts, but to the Super 8s. But other than that, Najmul Hossain Shanto, I don't remember any of his, very phenomenal knocks. I think only one knock that I remember is probably against Afghanistan in the lone test, where he scored two centuries in both the innings and became the only second Bangladeshi batter to do so. But then again, red ball and white ball are very different. And then again, the 82 against India, I think probably at Kanpur. Next up, we again have Tanzid Hassan, who is a fairly new face in this Bangladesh squad. He has only 9 ODIs under his belt with an average of 31.66. He's a left-handed batsman, and we also have Tauhid Ridoy, who has an average of which is the best of all of them. So it's 36.86, and he has a highest score of 96 not out. And the one highlight in his career has been to win the Under 19 World Cup, the ODI Under 19 World Cup in 2020 during the year of COVID against India, against all odds. So Bangladesh will probably be banking on him, to replicate his feats at the Champions Trophy. So let's go forward to the wicketkeeper batsman section, I think. So you can take it over.
Thank you, Rajatawa. And if we talk about the wicketkeeper option, the first name that comes to our mind is Mushfiqur Rahim. An old horse. What has a servant he has been to the Bangladeshi squad. With over 7,793 runs in 217 ODIs, he certainly brings that X factor and that experience which Bangladesh team desperately needs currently with the new setup Bangladesh team which you're talking about. And I believe that he could easily play that anchor role if Bangladesh wickets are 2 or 3 down. If you talk about his recent form, he looked decent in the series played against Sri Lanka, in which he scored 135 runs in 3 matches, and he looked good there. So it remains to be seen how he can perform. In my opinion, would be the last tournament of his career, and whether he could bring up with strong performances or not. The other two names that comes into the wicketkeeper session are Zakir Ali, who is relatively very much new to the international arena, and he has scored 5 matches, 151 runs at an average of 50, and it is yet to be seen how he could perform in the ICC tournaments if given a chance, which is looks very odd considering Mushfiqur Rahim in the squad, and he looked good as I'm mentioning the last series which is played against Zimbabwe, and it looks to be seen that how he will bring up his game in the big stage. And there's one more guy called Pervez Hussain Imon, who hasn't yet played any ODI international, and it remains to be seen that if given a chance how he can perform. But unless there's an injury of Mushfiqur Rahim, it looks also highly uncertainty. So that's all from the wicketkeeper section. Now, Rajat, if you could kindly elaborate on the bowlers part and how you feel that the bowlers are gearing up to this edition.
Okay, so Bangladesh, I mean, excluding the all-rounders, of course, Bangladesh has taken 6 bowlers into the squad, which is quite interesting. Given the condition, given the situation that they are not playing in Dubai, but they are playing in Pakistan. So let's see how their assessment has, mm, come up. So Bangladesh, we are definitely missing some big names, like Shakib Al Hassan. Although I would like to consider him like an all-rounder, but he is
Yes.
currently out of the list, just as Liton Das is out from the batting list as well,
Hmm.
which is a surprise to me. So coming about the bowlers, so I will start with Rishad Hussain. So he has been the first inclusion in the squad. So he's a he's a right hand leg spinner, and he has an average of 117, which is like sky high, with 1 wicket, and he has bowled in 3 ODIs so far. Then we have Tashkeen Ahmed. So Tashkeen Ahmed is a right arm fast bowler. He has a decent average of 29.98, has 73 wickets under his belt, and in the
That's a good.
2022 T20 World Cup, he was the highest wicket taker for Bangladesh. But ever since then, he has not done much, uh, you know, that Bangladesh fans should be very happy about. Then next comes the big name of the Bangladeshi pace attack, which is Mustafizur Rahman, and he has a phenomenal average of 25.88. We have all seen his heroics in the IPL with Chennai and previously with other teams as well. I think Sunrisers Hyderabad, and then he has 172 wickets under his belt, and he has his career best figures of 6 for 43, which is really really good. And he can bring that variation, those Yorkers at the
Yes.
right time. He can be the death bowler for Bangladesh, and those in swingers, out swingers, and reverse swing if the ball reverse swings at all. Then we have the new sensation of the Bangladeshi pace attack, which Bangladesh brought him to India, but he was he's still young. He has the pace, but he's still missing the line and length. Nahid Rana. So this will be his debut ODI tournament as well as a debut ODI match if he gets a chance in the first 11. So he's a right arm fast bowler, can consistently hit 140 plus, and he has played a couple of tests in 2023, and
Hmm.
most notably the tests against India. I think in last year in I think August or September, around
Yes.
that time. And next we have two other names. That is Nasoom Ahmed, who is a left-arm orthodox spinner. He has an average of a meager average of 41.1 and has 16 wickets to his name. And lastly, we have Tanzim Hassan Shakib, who has an average of 16, but he has taken only 12 wickets. He has not played many matches, and his career best figures are 3 for 14 as of now. He's again a right arm fast bowler. So it will be interesting to see who Bangladesh will be going with. I think Mustafizur is in probably an automatic choice, but then amongst the right hand fast bowlers, it will be interesting to see who Bangladesh will be going with amongst Taskeen Ahmed, Nahid Rana, or Tanzim Shakib. So I think we are left only with the all-rounder section. So Abhishek, if you could shed a bit of light on the all-rounder section, and then I can close off the show.
Sure. So we all know that a good all-rounder brings that good balance which a team needs to win big tournaments like the Champions Trophy. And talking about all-rounders, we have another season campaigner, which is Mahmudullah. I mean, and his ability to close the limited overs game for Bangladesh has been one of his pillars for so long. And how to forget his 2015 World Cup performance, where he became the first Bangladesh player to score a World Cup 100 against top teams like England and New Zealand. So, with over 5,685 runs in 82 wickets and in 238 matches, he certainly brings that experience which Bangladesh certainly needs. And if we talk about his recent contributions also to the Bangladesh squad in the recently held 2023 World Cup in India, he scored 328 runs, an average of 54 in 9 matches, and he showed us why he's so important for Bangladesh in the big stages. And again, it could be probably one of the last ICC tournaments for him, considering the World Cup being in 2027. It also remains to be seen that how he can shape up for this year's Champions Trophy edition and what kind of experience he can bring up. The another all-rounder which comes up is Shamma Sarkar, who has been in and out of the Bangladesh team for a long period time and then again come back. So it has been a start stop season for him. And with 2,198 runs in 75 matches, with an average of 33, it looks that he has been suddenly inconsistent if we talk about the batting. Considering the talent he brings and he plays well, it looks like a completely different batsman. So it remains to also it will be interesting to see if given a chance whether he would be consistent and give Bangladesh some good starts in this Champions Trophy. And last, there's who has been the name which has been I would say the man for Bangladesh. If we talk about the all-rounder section, and that is Mahmudullah Miraj, with close to 600 runs in 103 matches and 110 wickets. He is surely that guy which gives a lot of strength to the Bangladesh team, especially if we talk about the batting and the batting section. And if we talk about the top teams, he has that habit of scoring very well. And will forget the 2022 series which he played against India, where he scored three matches 141 runs with an average of 141. So he surely can bring that A game into his play against the big teams, and it remains to be seen the first match against India how he can perform and lead the Bangladesh team. So that's all from the all-rounder section. And Rajataba, your final thoughts on the Bangladesh team and how your thoughts that how can they do in this year's Champions Trophy?
Well, the squad looks, pretty balanced. I would say, considering the other teams that are in the group, like Pakistan, you can never rely on Pakistan, although they have very quality batters and bowlers in the team. Like they have Babar Azam, who on his day is one of the finest. They have Rizwan, who can anchor the innings, and also they have some power hitters like Fakhar Zaman. Unfortunately, Saim Ayub is out of the squad. Again, if you're talking about India, then you have Virat Kohli, you have Rohit Sharma, who gives India the explosive start. You have Shubman Gill. You almost have the 2023 World Cup finalist team. On paper, I think, except for a couple of changes. I think Mohammad Siraj goes out and one spinner comes in. So I think, in my opinion, India would probably be, if there are not any upsets, India should be one of the two teams to qualify from the group. And then New Zealand is also quite a fresh team because they have moved on from Bolt and some of the other senior players, it seems. And I think, it is actually difficult to say who, is the favorites, to come out of this group. And also, given the lean patch of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, and to some extent of KL Rahul in the red ball, and Shreyas Iyer, not playing for India, in any other formats other than ODIs for a long period of time. Shubman Gill also, hot and cold at times. So it is really difficult. So if all the Bangladeshi players, if they can bring up their A game, and if the other teams cannot play up to their potential, which can definitely happen because it's just one day out of 365 days. So it can just happen that those 3 days belong to Bangladesh. So they have the potential in them because there are a lot of new fresh faces. And I think the Bangladeshi fans and supporters, I think they have been one of the most vehement supporters of their cricket team. And I think, genuinely, I think from the perspective of an analyst, I think that the Bangladeshi fans, what they have done for their team, I think they deserve a little better. After the 2017 Champions Trophy, where they reached the semi-finals, and they were given new hopes, and in the Neeraj Trophy, they almost won it. Where Dinesh Karthik pulled off that last over against Shomo Shorka, who is incidentally playing in this tournament as well. So it is difficult to make an assumption, but I would say, given their past track record over the last few years, I would not bet Bangladesh to qualify given the other teams, but I would really be happy to see them in the knockouts of this tournament, because I think cricket has become more of a 2 or 3 centered a team-centered sport right now. It is only about India, Australia, England, and a little bit of Pakistan and New Zealand, and a tiny bit of South Africa on that day. So the teams like Bangladesh, West Indies, Afghanistan, they need to step up, and they need to play. Although one team is not playing in this tournament, so I think they need to come and they need to step up. and they need to play their A game, so that it becomes, I mean, more teams come in, and the competition becomes more competitive
Yes.
and becomes much more joyous to watch, like the football World Cup, where you do not know until the very end that who is going to win, and anyone can pull a surprise against anyone. So let's hope for the best, and
Sure.
we will see Bangladesh against India, I think on the 9th or 10th of February, I guess, if I'm not wrong.
Thank you. So thank
Okay.
you, Rajatava, for joining, and we had a great session discussing about the Bangladeshi squad. And let's hope Bangladesh can do well in this Champions Trophy edition. So thank you, Saptashi, Rajatava. Up to the stay tuned. Cheers and thanks.
Yeah, and subscribe.
Yes.